Jay, what are you jamming on now?
So I have definitely been playing a lot of Expedition 33, Clair Obscur. Freaking, like I've said before, it's like this, if you were a fan of Final Fantasy, this is like the game to play. RPG-wise, it's absolutely amazing. I just started Act 2, and at the end of Act 1, I had to just take a break because something, and I won't spoiler it, something happened that totally threw me off, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. It was like an emotional experience, and I had to just like step away. I talked to Courtney. She said the same thing because she's ahead of me. So, it was an emotional in a good way, and now I'm diving back in. So definitely have been playing a bit of that. I've also been getting into Doom the Dark Ages, when I can, but unfortunately it's been limited. I got the little ones who have been going to bed later and later the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, due to just various activities and school events going on. And so I have definitely been warned to absolutely not play that game in front of them with all the murdering and
is something goofy about that, or is it just a normal ass Doom game like the last one?
It's not. What do you mean goofy? Like,
I don't know. I feel like I have seen something that's like it's somehow a different. I don't know.
So
format.
this is
probably an overstatement or something. But.
So this is Doom the Dark Ages. So they've done a couple different things. Maybe I haven't talked about it before, but I have again played every Doom game and beat every single Doom game that has ever existed, except for the last one, Doom Eternal. I like that one. That like Doom in general has been like you move, you shoot, you find secrets, enjoy. But like it's gotten much more like you got your ass has got to be moving at all times or you're gonna die. And like to me, Doom Eternal was like the epitome of that when it was just like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
like,
I fell off. It was exhausting. It was exhausting.
Like it was it was very much that.
It's it's like the VR one we talked about. Like it's the modern ones. They were always like that, but when you put that in a 3D environment, God forbid a VR one, no less, it's too much, man. It's fucking too much. Not for an old man, anyways. I'm sure kids are fucking jamming on it, but it's too much. It's too much emotional.
It's fun, but
turmoil.
It's so intense. I'm like, man. And this one was supposedly like, well, it's in the Dark Ages, so it's like a long time ago in a different place, like in a galaxy, like it's a whole different setting. So it's cool story and all that. But like, yeah, this one is supposed to be much more like stand and fight because you have a shield. And so you can like throw it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what's goofy about it. It's fucking like medieval, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how would you not mention that? How would you not immediately say, yeah, that's completely different?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like
that's what's goofy.
Ages,
yeah,
it's medieval, but it's in like a different planet.
That's just those are just words, Jay. That doesn't mean anything to anyone. No, those are just words in a title.
But it's not like olden. Don't think like France, Germany, 1500s. Like it's like space medieval. So you still got like kings and armor, but you got freaking
Fantasy Star-y kind of. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a mix of that.
Sci-fi fantasy hybrid guy.
Yeah. Still medieval times, but like they got Doom equipment.
Copy.
So yeah, amazing game, but very limited with the time I've been able to play with these kids staying awake so many times. Outside of that, I've been playing a lot of Split Fiction as well. Me and Courtney are almost finished with that one. We're definitely going to get down on that again tonight when she gets back in town. Just amazing that game just continues to impress. Like we were talking to work about this with a couple guys the other day, just about how impressive the different mechanics are in like every level. Like it's again, like one character is like fantasy, the other character is more sci-fi, and you're going back and forth in the different ideas that they've had as writers in different worlds. But like in every world, the mechanics change so much. Like I said before, like one level you're giants, another level you are like one person's a dragon, another person's swimming in the water, another level you are like the way they use the camera angles to make you do things is very unique, and you'd have to see it to understand. And so it's really good. Really been enjoying that game. And then probably the game that I've spent surprisingly the most amount of time on It's been college football 25.
What did you say? College surprising my ass.
Well, because
least surprising thing on this podcast.
Well, it's surprising to me now because of all the bangers that are out there. Like I haven't touched Oblivion in like a month, just because of all the games out there. So many games out, so many games. But yeah, it's funny because I started my own dynasty, and I've taken the mighty Marshall Thundering Herd to the college football playoff twice, beating an SEC team in both college football playoffs. But I unfortunately did not win both. I got dominated by Ohio State the first year. Second year, lost to Georgia.
All Madden? Don't bullshit. Don't bullshit us. All Madden or no?
What do you mean, all Madden?
The skill level or whatever.
Oh, the difficulty? It's the second highest one.
Okay, so not all Madden.
Is that the highest in Madden?
It was 15 years ago when I still played Madden.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. No, I just went default everything because the dynasty.
I mean, Jay, we understand. It's because you want to enjoy yourself while you play the game. I understand. It's fine.
Absolutely, like legitimately, yes. Because the other dynasties I'm in are harder. Like the one that I'm in, that I actually finished 9-3 with Miami of Ohio in the Big Ten, took them third place. Like it was the best season I've ever had. That I'm playing with like 16 other dudes, and I normally get dominated. And that one is freaking hard. So I've actually feel really good about that. But it's like season number 6. I've had losing seasons every year until this one. I'm finally like recruiting dudes that are like, all right, 4 stars, better, 4 stars, and I'm better playing at the game. So, but yeah, like this dynasty, I just kind of went straight. Like whatever is recommended across the board, everything. I'm not making it like extreme and all that, trying to be competitive. So it's actually nice to enjoy the game and not like realize that like dudes were.
I mean, if I had to fucking play an EA Sports game, yeah, I mean, I guess I would want to just enjoy myself as opposed to the alternative. So sure,
yeah. But I probably will take them and move them up to the Big Ten next year because like. I'm starting to like get some 5 stars and that's cool, but like I can't keep beating down on the Sun Belt every year with my skill level. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Like I got to move up. Like it's annoying to just go play Georgia Southern in these small stadiums, knowing that I have 5 stars on my roster, and they probably have at best 3 stars.
I mean, I don't know that in my mind that kind of embodies college football, beating teams 70-0.
Exactly. But after 2 seasons. Well, like I expected my first season to go like 6, like 7-5, 8, but like the fact that I went 14-2 and went to the playoffs, I was like, all right, I've clearly gotten better playing in the fucking hard dynasty all this time, and so that was better. But at the same time, like I'd rather go play a Big Ten schedule, at least the conference that I like watching in real life, the stadiums I'm used to, instead of sometimes these small ass stadiums that look like high school stadiums, depending on what school you're going to, So either way, it's been fun. In my other dynasty with my guys that I know, I won the Big Ten championship, which you see on the screen behind me if you're watching, with University of Washington, since that's the local team here. And now I'm actually rematching the semifinals of the college football playoffs against my buddy who's USC. So definitely excited about that. But my question to you, Josh, is I've gotten good at this game, man. I can beat people online consistently at this point, and it's great. At the same time, why do I get destroyed at online basketball when I know infinitely so much more about that sport after having played and watched it since I was a little kid? Like, why is it like that?
Because there's zero carryover between actual knowledge of a sport and playing it in a video game.
Oh, it's ridiculous, man. Like
video game sport or sports video games are the optimal whatever success fucking thing is just a understanding a series of button depressions. It's not. It's nothing to do with the real world physics. I actually just listened to it. It's funny. I don't know. Well, what is? Because I just listened to it yesterday. There's this podcast. I'm not consuming much sports content these days, but there's this long-form sports journalist, Tyler Dunn, that started in Buffalo, and now he's a national reporter. And he's like a very He does like really down and dirty good interviews. He's just a good sports journalist, I guess is a shorter way to say that. And he interviewed this guy, Leroy Horde, which if you're a real 90s enthusiast, especially from Ohio, that name might mean something to you. He was a running back for the Browns in like the early 90s. I think he was drafted in 1990, I want to say. His rookie card was on one of those long game day, maybe 92 actually. His rookie card, I believe, was one of those tall game day cards, like the really long ones, or tall, not long, or that is long also. That I believe started in 1992 was the first year for those. That's whatever. That's clearly a fucking deep cut. But interviewed him. He played for like a decade. He played for the Browns. He was like briefly in Carolina, and then he got traded right away to the Vikings again. And he had a nice run with the Vikings. He was with that like late 90s team that almost went to the Super Bowl. Gary Anderson missed the field goal. They talked to him about. The only reason I remember that is because he talked about it on this podcast. But the big thing I know him from is the Browns. Anyways, interviewed him. They're good friends, I guess. Leroy Horde, I'd never heard Leroy Horde in a fucking interview, but he's very, like, you know, wears it on my sleeve kind of guy. No bullshit. He grew up in the 9th Ward in fucking New Orleans, so he, like, has seen shit and doesn't give a fuck about you or anything else. So, and he played football, so he's just like, I don't give a fuck. He tell you exactly how it is. So, really good fucking interview. And he was just talking about, like, I don't know, just the, you know, the physics of it and what it takes to be good at football. It was just a really amazing interview. And just how, I don't know, fucking, like, he had little just insights because he was perceived as like this fullback type bruiser running back, but he was only like 220. He was saying, it's like, I was actually, you know, I mean, I played hard and like hitting me in the fourth quarter was probably not fun, you know, and that was like my goal was to make you feel that way in the fourth quarter, is like to make a business decision, be like, fuck it, I'm done with that, man. And if he gets through me, I'm not putting my all into this. Like that was his goal, you know. He's like, despite being, you know, that was just like a perception. He wore these like really big shoulder pads that were like made him look bigger than he was, you know. And he did. He got listed as fullback a lot. And just he's like, I never blocked once. I never once fucking was a lead blocker in my whole life. Like, you know. So yeah. But the whole point is he talked a lot about just kind of like what it feels like to fucking play football, you know, and like what that era. And just how hard it is and how little people understand the moment-to-moment strife that it puts on you as a human being to be on a football field with men like that. And it was just a really, really insightful podcast that I'm not even sure how it connects back to what you were saying now. I've been talking about this so long. But hopefully it makes sense, and you should listen to that interview. It's really good. Tyler Dunn Go Long Podcast, Leroy Horde, and that's Hoard is his last name. And look up his 1992 rookie card also.
Nice. I was definitely misspelling it out of my mind all this time.
Great interview. All those guys' interviews are great. They're really fucking great interviews. He's a really good interviewer.
Nice. Check that out. Yeah, lots of football. It's kind of been my go-to instead of, you know, since I've downloaded or deleted for space purposes Halo. You know, I haven't really been doing my typical. I need to just
PvP
chill out,
shit?
get home from work. Yeah, PvP stuff. Like I re-downloaded Marvel Rivals, so I've been, you know, playing with that a little bit. But it's funny every single time I play that game, I turn it off and go read a comic. Like it makes me want to go read the comics. It's just it's funny too, and I may have mentioned it before. Like the fact that they're really the whole theme of the season is the Krakoa era in X-Men, which is taking place in the thing that I'm reading right now, the run that I'm reading, and it's absolutely amazing, but I'm behind in, so it makes me want to just read it all the time. So every time I play that game, I just sit down and freaking read the comic. So I really don't get much gaming in with that. So lots of football in the interim. But yeah, man, that's been the games I've been playing outside of some, you know, dinking around little games.
Got good news. I got comics to talk about at the end of this, Jay. So.
Are you up to the Krakoa era? We could definitely dish on that.
I'm not. Right? Well, not in my X-Men read that I started from issue 1, my X-Men quest. But I am in the Krakoa era. I mean, I'm reading Modern Wolverines. We've talked about that. So.
Oh yeah.
I have an understanding of it, at least from the Wolverine side of it.
Nice.
But before we get to that, as far as video games go, I'm fucking going backwards, bro. So Steam pinged me with a 75% off sale on fucking Slime Rancher, which I don't know if you remember.
What?
Yeah, I was playing that. What? I was playing that when I first got
Game Pass forever.
Yeah, when I first got the Xbox, I was playing that quite a bit. So yeah, that I got pinged with that right after we recorded last time. That random rags app, and I had it wishlisted because about a month ago I saw a head-to-toe VR mod had dropped for it. So I was like, ooh, that was a fun game. That, like, they even tried to make, like, a native VR, like, I don't know, it wasn't the full game. It was like a VR toy box, sandbox kind of thing that was like not good, basically. And that was a long time ago, and that was bad. So I had, like, dabbled with the VR of that world, I guess, before, and it's very VR-y. I don't know, it's like a sandbox game to begin with, and like, it just, I don't know, it lends itself to VR in a lot of the mechanics and stuff. So I'd been wanting to do that. So when I saw that like a month ago, I was like, oh fuck, as soon as that goes on sale, I will get that. And 75% off, obviously, very appealing. So I don't know, like $5 or something. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially a farm economic simulator with a shit ton of different like slime species things that you capture and kind of, I don't know, exploit. Right. I mean, for lack of a better term, you're like, you know, you're basically jamming food into their mouths and trying to get this monetizable output from them, shit, essentially. And, you know, that has a bunch, and there's also a bunch of exploration mechanics and battle mechanics, and it's just a really cool game, a really cute, fun story world, and the you know, it checks a lot of my little simulation boxes. So, very cool. It's exactly what I expected it would be. The VR port is fucking perfect. It's fucking amazing. Oh man, the fucking internet and the nerds on it are so great. The idea that someone took this game from whenever the fuck that came out and took the time to make this good and consumable in something that it wasn't built for, or a gaming medium that it wasn't built for, is just so beautiful and makes me so happy. So yeah, I'm playing. It's just crack. It's a crack game, 100% crack, and it's hard to, you know, meter my consumption of it. So I'm definitely playing a lot of that here and there. It is a little like, you know, as with any simulation game, if you play it for a long time, you're like, fuck man, I'm doing a job. I'm doing a job here. I'm talking myself into doing a virtual job, and I should stop doing that and do something else. You know, so every now and again, I'll like, that will hit my fucking cortex and be like, turn this off. Do something that's fucking different and or hopefully more productive. So that's the one downside to it. But as far as like what it's supposed to be doing, great. Fucking great. If you like Slime Rancher and you like VR, holy fuck, combine the things. It's the modding process on it, super simple, which I have more to talk about modding processes later, or throughout this probably. I've been really on a mod kick lately. So I'm learning what I can do and what I can't do, or I should say maybe what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing as far as that goes. But Slime Rancher, very simple, does not require a lot of mod savviness at all. The other thing again, just going fucking backwards, I finished the main story and platinum achieved Subnautica, the base game in VR, which I had been playing. Fucking, you know, everything I wanted it to be and more in VR and more. Great. So glad I took the time to do it. Great. Enjoyed every second of it. Cannot wait for 2 to come out and for the nerds to mod it 4 seconds later into VR, even though Outer Worlds, for some dumb fucking reason, I watched they're doing like the developer streams and shit now because they're starting the marketing build for the release later this year, the beta release. And, you know, they're saying flat out, like they're, you know, the lead developer or whatever his fucking title is like saying in that video, he's like, you know, we love VR here. He's like, I have multiple headsets myself, but we're not focusing on them. Like, there's no story world in the gaming landscape built more for VR than Subnautica. You know, the idea that they're not embracing that and fucking, it's just insane to me. It's insane to me, but whatever. Like I said, the nerds will fix it. They'll probably do it better than they would anyways. Fine. So looking forward to that, but you know, I'm not going to finish Subnautica, enjoy every second of it, and just be like, okay, I'm done with Subnautica, guys. So I started looking at mods and shit, and you know, of course, there's a fucking just a goddamn litany of them. And
I feel like we've had this conversation so many times about Subnautica.
So many, yeah, it won't go away. It won't go away. Well, it should. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, yes. And it's not going to get any better with 2 coming out, but whatever. So, and it never occurred to me, thinking about my willingness to embrace and utilize mods, that a mod couldn't just be a piece of DLC, fan-created DLC, which, of course, A, can, B, tons of. So, one that was particularly thorough and interesting and fucking out there is called Subnautica Red Plague. Yeah, man, it is like...
Red Plate?
Yeah, it's Red Plague, like pestilence.
Oh,
plague.
Red Plague. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, the idea with it is... In addition to that big ship crash landing on this foreign planet, where all the shit's going on there already, the native or the planet-born, also plague, I guess. It's an epidemic of sorts. There's like a disease, a bacteria-based disease that's infecting things, and the planet is in turn under quarantine. That's a little spoilery, I guess, but you learn it in the first few fucking whatever, so not too bad. But yeah, if you haven't, I guess Subnautica now maybe falls into like an old movie category if you don't know the story. Right. Whatever. But so there's that, that's all there. But in addition to that, this other it's not as simple as bacteria, but this other disease, infectious problem, sample was in the ship that crashed, and now that is also spreading around the planet, and it is way worse. It turns everything hyper-aggressive and mutates it into this disgusting, fucked up thing, and...
Sounds like you want to leave the planet.
Well, that's what you want to do in the game, anyways. That's when you're crash landing. You're crash landing on a planet. You're trying to get the fuck off of it. Is the core goal of Subnautica. But so you have these 2 things going on, and like I said, this one is way worse. And it turns even the most basic, benign creatures in the safe, shallowest part of the game into ultra aggressive, dangerous things. So it just ups the difficulty exponentially. And then the story underneath it all is also very interesting and very cool. And they take the dystopian thing, because basically Altera, the company, the corporation that is owned the ship and owns you essentially as an employee, knows this thing is on the planet, or was on the thing, and it's a sample that they want to weaponize and monetize. So they, once you fix your radio, start communicating with you, the science team on wherever at HQ is communicating with you, trying to get you to send samples back and stuff, and do stuff for them to get this dangerous biological weapon to them, So there's a really cool thing going on story-wise there. So fucking good. It's not perfect. There are some slightly janky things, and even one that maybe was VR based, because it's obviously, this is not built to be in VR also, but the VR mod allowed me to play it for the most part just the same.
Naturally.
So I wasn't able to finish it, unfortunately, but I got to play a lot of it and got a lot of new content and a lot of really cool experience out of it, and it was super fun, super scary, fucking terrifying, some of the shit. You'd have to know you'd have to play Subnautica for any of the really holy shit, that's possible kind of things. But it sends you into places that you normally totally avoid, those the Reaper areas and shit. You have to go get materials and shit out of there, which I literally, bro, have never done, because fuck it, I don't need anything out of there that bad. It's terrifying. I don't go there. And and this you have to.
Time to sack up and go, Josh.
Right,
let's go.
Right, yeah, so it kind of normalized that, and that was a really cool outcome too. Mm-hmm. It forced me to do things even in the base biomes and stuff that I'd never had really engaged. So that was cool. It forced me to see things that I hadn't seen. It was really nice. So yeah, just a really cool experience as far as that goes. There's a couple others. One's called Return of the Ancients. It's not quite finished, but it's like a really thorough, crazy new storyline with a gigantic Leviathan creature. Basically, the thing, if you played the game, you find skeletons to these things late in the game that suggest that they used to exist on this planet, but you never see them alive. And this mod basically makes those present currently too, and clearly they're scary. So that's a cool ass thing, but there's also a storyline with that, I guess, that's coming. So that's a TBD thing down the road. And there's one called Automation as well it's like a pack of it's like a builder pack kind of thing, but with story elements too. And you basically can create all this new alien technology and stuff that is kind of thematically in line with the alien structures and technology you find in the base game. So just a really well thought out, cool kind of building sandboxy thing. So those are two that I still want to fuck with. And then, Jay, I'll be done with Subnautica. Right. So that's all going on. And then I saw it on sale. Not enough sale. Only 20% off, but enough to make me think it was worth it. I bought Oblivion Remastered and then tried to VRify it with, it's called UEVR, which is how, again, I sent you those videos of like essentially day one mods. So that's how that happens. Like I was saying in the thread, UEVR is Unreal Engine VR, and it's basically it's kind of like a command shell or a operation, like almost like DOSBot, like an emulator kind of, that takes any Unreal Engine game and it literally calls it injecting, like injects VR into that game. So it can take any flat screen UEVR game. That sounds great, Jay. Yes, it sounds fucking fantastic. And it is super brilliant and really cool. The problem is it requires a whole shit ton of like playing with the clay. Every game obviously has different control sets, different things about it that make it whatever unique, and you have to, the base injector only gets you going, So the reason, I sent those videos, if you Google around more about Oblivion Remastered, yes, essentially like day 2 or 1 or whatever, you can play it in VR, but it's not good. You didn't have motion controls. And then like 4 days later, now we got motion controls, but you can't see your hands, and it's just a weapon kind of operating fucking disembodiedly, and then a week later, now you got hands, and it's like people that are literally going in and like fine tuning the configuration file for Oblivion Remastered specifically to make it work better. Now the problem is the game is constantly being updated. The base injector is constantly being updated. The optimal configuration file to work with both of those things is constantly being updated. So you have 3 independently operating things that have to line up for it to work. And then also, obviously, your individual system, which is unique in it as well, relative to everyone else out there. So you have 4 large, unique variables in the equation to get something to work right. So I'm not smart enough. I couldn't fucking do it. It makes me so sad inside. It kind of worked at first, and then when I tried to like fine tune it, it like completely got off the rails, and it would just go to black. All I could see was like the UI. I couldn't even see the game screen, and it just basically did not work. So I just refunded it because I'm not going to play that in a base game for sure, or in a flat screen way. So I returned it, and I'm fucking super sad about it. And I was fired up as fuck to play it because it was going to be new Skyrim in VR, but I couldn't get it to work, and it sucks really bad, so I just went back to playing Slime Rancher. But I fucking tried, and I see on the horizon, after time, the development curve of all those things, with the exception of my own system, I suppose, but that's obviously the least problematic of the 4 variables, that will smooth, I think, and eventually this will be possible, I expect, in a more consumable way. I mean, honestly, probably eventually it will be streamlined into a standalone VR mod, I imagine, that is independent of UEVR, which, everything I read for UEVR, for the reasons I just described, UEVR is tricky for every game it gets used with because it has all those variables. The reason Subnautica is fucking a perfect experience is because it's not using something like that. Someone built from the ground up for the game specifically a VR modification that connects all the tendrils at every point. You know what I mean? Right. And someone will obviously do that for this fucking game, and I'll be able to play it then without this UEVR variable, So that is what I suppose I will wait for somewhat excitedly, since they're never going to make a fucking Elden Ring game ever again.
I was about to say, hopefully that happens before Elden Ring 6. Or not Elden Ring, but...
it will definitely... Jay, it will definitely happen before Elden Ring 6. I'm fucking certain of that. I have no worries about that. That doesn't mean it'll be anywhere soon, but it will definitely happen before Elden Ring 6. I'm positive of that. So that is what I have been playing. I also started fucking with that Forest game. The Forest VR one, again, just because I don't have anything else to play now. So like I said, I would eventually get back to that. And I can't play it. The problem is I can't play it sitting down. It's meant to be like a full body standing up thing. So like I'm kind of like half-assed. I like when I need to like hit something on the ground with my axe, I've like devised this system where I can kind of lean up on my couch and kneel down in the game and like fucking do it close to the floor right in front of the couch. So like I need to just get off my ass and fucking stand up and fucking do it the right way and it'll be fine. But I haven't done that yet, so it feels, and it is just also a little, it's not perfect. It's an old ass game that they did build a standalone VR mod for, and it's, functional and pretty fucking good, but it's not, the game was not designed for it. It's an old game, so there's going to be some disconnects to some degree, So I don't expect it to be perfect. It seems very playable though, and everything I read also suggests that it is fully playable. If not, your perfect modern VR experience. So I've been playing that, and I tried getting it back into the Radius is done. I can't do it. It's too much, man. It's too fucking stressful. It's too hard. The VR of 2 is out and in beta now. Eventually, that'll clearly be better. Once that's a finished game, I'll just play that and get that experience in a clean, new, modern way that's built for VR from the ground up. So I've kind of let that go. So that's it for gaming. X-Men Quest, dude. Holy fuck. They are really aimlessly wandering in the late 100s and into the early 200s with this book, dude. Nightcrawler's got like a lame duck stint as the group leader I never knew happened. That was fucking terrible. And like his I don't know, just fucking, self-doubt is just such a lame, it was such a lame storyline. I hated it so much. And like the Storm thing, I still don't think she's got her powers back, but she's like, maybe she is back leading because we have X Factor going on. Yeah, she is back without powers, which is insane that she can participate in this ecosystem without any powers. The idea that she could just be, she's just like hand-to-hand combating without any elemental capabilities with these mutants, to me, is fucking ridiculous. But whatever. Like,
maybe she trusts that everybody's going to keep her safe. I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah,
it's not. It doesn't.
Comics, man. Comics.
Yeah, precisely. So all that shit's going on, and it just felt so aimless. There's all these. They fucking love arcade. They love like the 100 to early 200s. The whole basically since they restarted with the new group. In Giant Size X-Men 1, they have had this like fascination with Arcade as a villain, and he is such a shitty, boring villain in my mind. He's the fucking guy with the funhouse shit. He makes these like Saw type death game things where he like puts you in this compromising position, and you have to like choose the best of a bunch of bad options to like escape, and like it's not directly combative. He's just like a dude in a tower basically watching this shit happen on video screens. It's such an awful.
Yeah, he's whack, man. He's that whole stuff.
And they love I mean, I feel like every 15-20 issues we get a fucking big arcade rift for like 2 issues, and it's like, fuck off with that dude. He's not interesting. So I hate that. But it has led up to where I'm at now, which is the low 200 teens into the Mutant Massacre. And this is the Apocalypse 4 Horsemen. Archangel loses his wings, and like I've always known about that, and I could just tell. Yeah. He's not Archangel yet. He's Angel losing his wings. He becomes Archangel because of this. which I knew in a like distant, vague way. But yes, the intricacies of that I have never read or known. So that has become, and Apocalypse's deal period is very interesting to me. I like him as a villain.
Yeah, man.
And he's literally, I'm on, I think I just finished 211 last night. So he's just going around. I love how like much build there is to it. You know, they're taking it across all sorts of books, X Factor, X-Men. There's a Thor issue in there, New Mutants. So there's all this fucking, of course it has to be a slow build just because they're trying to draw it out across all these books and make you buy them all. But like, I love for Apocalypse's purposes, I love how there's like this slow build of him going around and selecting these people from these different places.
Wait, have you finished the whole Mutant Massacre?
He just got War. He just took the dude out of the Iron Lung and turned him into War. So yeah, he's still building his team. So I haven't even gotten to where I don't even know. I don't think the X-Men or X Factor even know that he's like a thing yet. I don't believe. You know, he's still kind of like in the background working, getting his shit together. So yeah, super interesting. There's the Morlock shit going on. There's whatever that other group is that strung. They're down killing the Morlocks, and they strung fucking Angel up. Took his wings off. He just came out of surgery, so he doesn't. They're like his wings are gone. He's fucked. You know. So I don't even like. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure Apocalypse comes and gets him. I think that's what happens. He comes and gets him and turns him into one of the things. So that'll be super interesting, and that's how he becomes Archangel. I just can't wait for that. That's super exciting to see coming down the pipe. But so that's going on with Mutant Massacre shit on X-Men. But again, I told you, I'm doing the reading guides, and so I'm like seeing what I should be consuming, and like it's the original 5 fuckers. And X Factor, just started as a book a few back. So I went back and read the first 8 because they start, I think, in 9. 8 or 9 is where Mutant Massacre goes into X Factor. I was like, well, I'm not going to skip the first 7 and then start on X Factor 8. I'm clearly going to read those. So I went back and back read the beginning of X Factor, and everything I read about him was like, storylines suck shit till Mutant Massacre, and they did. They were awful, absolutely awful. It was just like going back to the original. They're just such a boring group. They're such a boring group. The shit with fucking Angel, Cyclops thinking fucking Angel's trying to bang. I mean, Angel is kind of trying to bang her, but whatever. with Jean Grey, but his whole thing about his whole thing about like, because he's married to Madeline Pryor now, and they split up or whatever because he leaves and he's too dutiful to tend to his fucking marriage, who's a kid now too, and he's like all guilty. He can't tell fucking Jean Grey about Madeline Pryor, and he's just such a bitch. He's such a bitch. I hate Cyclops. He's such a bitch. He's such a bitch. I fucking cannot stand him. But once all that shit gets fucking settled, and like Beast loses his fur, right? That was kind of interesting. Beast loses his fur in that situation in those first 7 issues of X Factor and gets him back to the original look. I'm eager to see how that ends up going. I mean, I imagine just whatever that thing that happened to him from Mesmero or whatever the fuck his name was, that gives him that little kid that shows up, and now they're dealing with this fucking kid is kind of interesting. But the PSI kid with the crazy fucking skin and eyes and shit was a fucking ET or something. So that's going on, and yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with Beast. And here's the thing too, I've never really known how those original X-Men go away, because like Beast sticks around, Angel comes back as Archangel, Jean Grey and Cyclops stay, but Iceman kind of just fucks off somewhere. In like once I started in like the late 200s, early 300s, when I got into X-Men, Iceman was just not. I don't know. He's just gone. I don't. Like I know, like a lot of the fuckers, like Nightcrawler and a few others, I think, go over and become Excalibur, the UK team. I know that, but I don't think Iceman's in that. So I'm kind of curious to see where the fuck Bobby Drake goes. I don't know. Don't tell me. You look like you're about to tell me. Don't tell me. Fair enough. Like I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
All too eager to jump in, but it won't.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Iceman goes. So that's interesting. But yeah, now essentially reading 2 books because X Factor, at least until the original 5 fuck off and Havoc and those X Factor people that take over after they go back to leave. I'll probably read X Factor till at least that, and we'll see how invested I am. Maybe I keep doing it. But yeah, the X Factor thing too, I never knew. I didn't know the kind of origin story of them. And it is kind of interesting that they are created as this idea of they portray themselves to the public eye as being mutant hunters. And it's like this backhanded way of having the public lead them to mutants that they can then help. And like, that's interesting. It's an intriguing thing. And it's coming out of, again, that thing that I think is a fascinating part of this whole universe as we get up to where I started reading. And then the X-Men, the original X-Men cartoon series of the anti-mutant political sentiment thing going on with the Sentinels and all that shit. So like this is kind of like a precursor to all that, or like a part of the genesis of that storyline in all my perception. So that's cool. And they even, I think it's hilarious that they literally just advertise on TV with a 555 hotline number, and they like tell people to like call them and say, "Hey, come get these fucking beauties off my lawn." You know, that's like their TV commercial, which is hilarious to me. And the whole thing, the whole reason they can afford to do that is because Warren Worthington, because of Angel, you know, he's using his money to fund this new, right. Yeah. So it's hilarious to me how, I don't know, funny that is. But, you know, and then they go out, at least early on, where I'm at, they go out and they can't look like mutants because they're not supposed to be, you know, even though they've been, you know, it's like, it's fucking comics. It's comics. It's ridiculous. Like, they basically only Cyclops.
Recognizable.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Only Cyclops, Marvel Girl, and Iceman can go out in what they call their civvies. The quotation marks if you're not watching the video. Yeah. Because Beast and Angel can't hide that they look like freaks, you know, because Beast hasn't changed over when they're first starting to do this. Obviously, once he loses the fur, which is where I'm sure that whole idea came from, so he can start going out. And Angel's always been able to cover up. That's a stupid thing too. Angel, back in the original X-Men comics, could put on a suit and he wore that fucking girdle that would tape his wings so he could wear civvies in the old comics. So he could, but they don't. They just ignore that to whatever, create a storyline. So only Cyclops, Marvel Girl, and Iceman will go out, and clearly Iceman's not iced up when he does this. He can turn himself, right. You know. So the three of them will go out and in the public eye address the call, the 555 hotline call, and then Beast and Angel would show up when the battling starts and whatever, and then the five of them do whatever they got to do. So it was just a really convoluted fucking whatever bullshit. It's mildly interesting, I guess, but just very funny to me. And yeah, exactly like you said, so recognizable. Cyclops is wearing those fucking ruby quartz sunglasses and his civvies.
Those are his things, yeah.
Yeah, the most conspicuous looking thing ever. You know, after he's been there. You know, he's been a fucking. They've come in and out of the X-Men with him and without him, have come in and out of being wanted, but a public whatever menace or at times, So yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous that they wouldn't recognize
Maybe he's
them.
got a different haircut, Josh. Maybe he's got a different haircut.
Right, exactly, right.
Maybe
right,
he's got some oval shaped glasses. Maybe they're different shaped.
They're not. They're those same fucking UV looking ones that are they're very boxy. They're not, but sure, Jay. Sure. So yeah, that's what my X-Men quest at. I think I'm going into X-Men 212. I literally started reading and I was like, I'm too tired. I gotta get up in the morning to podcast. Man. Or not even podcast. I gotta get up super early and try to figure out Teams and Zoom and however the fuck. Hopefully, we're recording this right now. We don't even know. So if you hear this right now, guess who's a fucking tech genius? These motherfuckers right here. We figured out a way to do it, even though Microsoft tried to not let us. So that's where we're at as far as all the bullshit goes. Now, let us talk about our solar Jetman hunt for the Golden Warship journeys.